So let's talk about adding data to our layers. What data can be added to a layer? We can have a pin or place marker, which is a single point. We can have a line, which is 2 points joined by a line. We can have a polygon, which is multiple points that are joined by a line that create some kind of a shape. Now, with the free version, when we're talking about single points, there's limited symbology because we're using the free version. If you want to use advanced symbology or the official SPU symbology, you can do that by importing a symbol set, but you're going to have the plus or the premium version. So one of the first steps to adding data to a layer is to ensure that we have the correct layer identified that we want that data to be placed on. So we open up our layer menu, we open up our layer parent folder, and then we go down to ensure that our working layer is active. We're going to use the working layer approach. Now, if I want to change the active layer to where I'm adding, so if I'm adding tons of water source information, or maybe I'm just going out for safety zones, I can activate that as the active layer, and I will just be plotting everything on that. But if I add hydrants or something like that, they'll be added within the safety zone layer. Don't worry, you can always move points or polygons or lines that are added at a later time, but it just keeps things sometimes a bit more organized in the chaos if you're using a working layer. So now that we have the working layer active, we can start adding points. So let's zoom into our map. And the first thing that we might want to do is we're going to add a hydrant to this corner of this intersection here. So points are added to wherever the crosshairs are pointed to. If we put these crosshairs right on this intersection here, we can then use the place mark button, and it's going to prompt us with a bunch of information that we have to type in. So here's the name. So we already said, pop up my keyboard. We are going to call this a hydrant. Put my keyboard away. It gives us the coordinates of the hydrant, the layer that we're working, or the layer that it's going to be placed on. That's the working layer. Now we can add something like photos. So if we press the add button here, we can embed a photograph of this point to help create context or deliver some more information. It can become really useful and handy. If you have a water point, that's hard to identify or see from the road, like a drafting site, you can have somebody in the picture standing and pointing. I've attached pictures of pump instructions of how to start a pump, or what type of fuel that we're using for the pump, so that people understand when they come to this point, if they have this layer, exactly what's expected of them there. So we can hit that add photograph, and we can either pick it from our iPad, the photo library that we've already taken, or the camera. So let's use the camera in this case. The camera boots up here, and we can see we're outside. Oh, there's our hydrant. It's a super special hydrant, and that's why we wanted to take a picture of it. So we take a picture of that hydrant with the iPad, and we click use photo, or we can retake that photo if it's not sufficient. So use photo. The photo is now up here in this list. We can add another photo if we want by hitting the plus sign, or we can edit this photo here. We can rename the photo or delete it from those 3 points. When we move back, we see that that photo has been added to this place marker that we placed. Next is a description. We can add special details and information in here. I'm going to bring my keyboard up, and there's a trick here. If you have cellular data on, or your iPad is tethered to a phone with cellular data, you can click this microphone here and use the voice to text option. It helps when you're bouncing around in a vehicle. But let's say this hydrant was the only operational hydrant in the area. You could I'll click this and I'll add this to the description. That's good for data. And now we can go back. Now we have a description telling us more about this point. If we scroll down, we have the option to change our pin. So a hydrant, let's call it a blue pin. And it tells about when the point was created. And there's some, if we're trying to collect data on pre-built attributes, that's beyond the scope of this course here. But we have to hit the save button when we're finished. And you can see now we've got this blue dot here. If I click off of it, that dot stays at that intersection. If I click with my finger on that dot or on that place marker, it comes up as hydrant. I click on that again and I've got all that information. I can see that photograph really well. And that information that's tied to it, I can also read the description from here. So that's placing a place marker with the crosshairs. And we can move that anywhere and place those anywhere. So what happens if we wanted to create a place marker in our exact position? So say that we are in the incident command post and I wanted to create a place marker for the incident command post. So what I'll do is I'll go up to this triangle again. This will recenter the map on our location. We can see our location right there. Now our location is centered on the map. The crosshairs, although they're not here, they are centered on our point. We can add a place marker now, and we'll add right on top of our location. So place marker name, let's call this incident command center. So we've got a name, description. We're not going to add a photograph, but maybe in the description we'll say something like perfect. Gives us a little bit more information when people are trying to find the incident command post. And the pin style, we can make that whatever color we want, but let's just call that one gray. Again, that's enough information for us. We can save that. So now we've got this gray pin on the map. When we click on it, it's the incident command center. And it's in the northwest corner of the parking lot next to Home Depot. Perfect. So that's how we put points on the map. Actually, we can do one more here. Let's zoom out a little bit and zoom in a little bit. We can put it right here. And we'll call this. Let's add a photo. Again, we'll select that camera. And we'll zoom out here. Just driven by. We've got a picture of the Coldstream Fire Department now associated with that. And we're going to save that point. Great. We've got some pins on the map now. So that's adding place markers or pins or points to a map.